All right, this is Ubaid on behalf of V Electronics, and in this video, we'll be talking about standardized budget and actual budget. Okay, so this is standardized. This is standardized budget. Standardized budget versus actual budget. All right, now what ends up happening is with a standardized budget, this is your standardized budget. So with a standardized budget, okay, the budget is a potential GDP. So the standardized employment budget is our potential GDP. So if you look at this graph over here, suppose this is your GDP, okay, and this has to do with total number of years. Okay, so let's say starting at 2001 all the way till 2025. Okay, and suppose this is a horizontal line, which is at zero over here. Okay, and with the government spending going up and down, okay, your budget deficit will go up and down as well, just like the stock market. Okay, when the government spending is more than the tax revenue, it will lead to a deficit. When the government spending is less than the tax revenue, it will lead to a surplus. And when there is a deficit, it will be below the zero line. Okay, so let's start off here. And if there's a surplus, it will be above the zero line. And suppose this is your standardized employment budget. Okay, so this is the surplus or deficit at full potential. So this is at full potential, which means the suppliers are producing at their maximum capacity and they're supplying the consumer's demand. Okay, so full potential. All right, and because this is at full potential, okay, your actual budget will be less than your standardized budget. Okay, the actual budget accounts for things like recession and inflation. So during a recession, okay, your actual budget will be less. The actual deficit, okay, will be more than the standardized deficit. Okay, so if this is your standardized deficit, your actual deficit will be further down. Okay, because in a recession, your unemployment goes up. Okay, the government will spend more than what it earns in tax revenue, as a result of which your actual budget deficit is more. As far as the government spending is concerned, this is for a recession. So this is a recession. Okay. And in a recession, okay, the surplus will be less than the standardized budget surplus. Okay. So if there is a recession and let's say the government, for some reason, is um, making more in tax revenue compared to what is spending, even though the GDP is being reduced, okay, the surplus will be still less than your standardized budget surplus, which is over here. Okay, because this is a recession, the economy is not being produced, the goods and services are not being produced at full potential, the economy is not at full potential, as a result of which the surplus will be less and the deficit will be more. Okay, so that's the difference between your standardized budget and actual budget. Standardized budget surplus or deficit versus actual budget deficit or surplus. All right. Now, when this does happen, when you do have a recession, what ends up happening is your automatic stabilizers kick in. Okay, because this recession causes the actual budget deficit to be lower than your standardized budget deficit. Okay, there will be some form of an automatic stabilizer that will kick in. All right, so when it comes to automatic stabilizers, we're talking about your employment insurance benefits, so EI benefits. Okay, along with things like food stamps. So you have food stamps, so government aid. And since we're talking about your fiscal policies, so your fiscal policies will kick in as well. So fiscal policies covers tax and tax cuts. So during a recession, you will have a tax cut. Your EI will kick in. So the number of people, unemployed people claiming employment insurance will go up. The number of people claiming food stamp will go up, and the government will increase tax cuts. Whereas in an inflation, okay, you have the opposite. So if this is a contractionary, okay, fiscal policy where your actual budget deficit is less than your standardized budget deficit and your surplus is more, okay, than your standardized budget surplus. Okay, in that case, your employment insurance claims will go down, food stamps will go down. So your food stamps will go down, will be reduced, and there will be an increased amount of taxes being charged to individuals as well as businesses. So taxes will go up. All right, so this is how the standardized budget and the actual budget works in a recession and in an inflation. Apart from that, this is Obeid on behalf of Electronics. This is Obeid. Have yourself a great day.